Hi, in today's video, we're going to be exploring the answer to the question, how can you apply growth mindset in real life? First part of this video, we'll be talking about how you apply growth mindset into your personal relationships. Of course, we'll also be talking about how you apply it into your work life. We'll be talking about how you apply it into your learning or your school development, educational pursuits, which will also include personal growth and development, right? So there'll be slightly difference between those two, but we'll be looking at the educational aspects and your personal growth and development. And of course, we're going to look at real life example of somebody who exhibited that growth mindset. So let's talk a little bit about how you apply growth mindset into your personal relationships. So again, that growth mindset idea is that you're constantly able to improve and grow, right? Your intelligence, your skill set's not fixed. So in terms of relationships then is we're constantly looking at how to improve ourselves and how we relate to other people, right? None of us are perfect at that. None of us, even the great communicators of all time, have areas where they can try to do better. And that's that fundamental idea behind a growth mindset is that we are looking to constantly grow. So in our relationships, in our personal relationships with our family members, our spouses or partners, and our children, with our inner circle members, those are really closest to us, it's always looking and reflecting and trying to take your life lessons from those moments. You might have a great relationship with somebody. Well, how can I make this even better? Is there anything I'm not doing to really show and strengthen that bond? Because ultimately, research has shown that the number one factor really for our long-term happiness is the quality of our relationships. All right. So that constant analysis, self-analysis, reflection about where we are in those relationships, seeking to even become deeper connected is an essential part of applying that growth mindset into our personal relationships. We say the same thing about professionally, right? But when we think of professionally, now we're thinking more about our actual job performance. Now, yes, that does include our professional relationships as well. Unquestionably, that can have a significant impact on our advancement professionally. Is how well are we cooperating and get along with and working with other people? But inevitably, one of the great skills that you can bring to any organization is your ability to solve problems. Now, it is true that there are some organizations out there that are so set in their ways that they don't they don't even want to entertain doing things differently. And this is not a value judgment in those organizations. But as somebody with a growth mindset who's constantly looking to improve things, sometimes that can lead to a dead end, right? If you're in an organization that's like that. So that's where you might use your growth mindset to seek new opportunities in other organizations, similar organizations. Maybe you seek an opportunity of doing it on your own, going out on your own. All right. But that is all about this aspect of applying that growth mindset to your professional situation, right? How can I fix things here at work? How can I make it better? How can I help the company grow? How can I, whatever it is, you're seeking these out. Maybe it is like, again, as I said, maybe you need to look beyond that company or organization that you're working for. But that is applying that growth mindset into that area of your life. So educationally, it's really about learning, right? So whether you are maybe having to learn, like lifelong learning is a huge thing, okay? So maybe you have to learn how to use some new technology that's come into your business. And technology is not your thing. So fear and anxiety builds about having to learn this and the learning curve. And It can be easy to get sucked into a negative mindset or a fixed mindset in this context. So again, we've got to, everything's a life lesson. We want to embrace that. It's like, all right, how can I use this to make me better, make what I do better? Get curious, accepting that emotion and belief of curiosity, of like, oh, I wonder, I wonder, I wonder. And you constantly reinforce that idea about being curious. I wonder what happens if. And the more you begin to ask the question, I wonder if, I wonder what would happen, that using those words helps build that curiosity, which is hugely important in a growth mindset in education. And of course, looking at your own beliefs about, gee, they're not really that good at math. Well, really? Well, compared to who, right? The sort of questioning can do wonders for interrupting any negative patterns you might have about the learning process, fueling that growth mindset in education. Now, right along with that is personal growth. So maybe it's not having to learn some new skill or some new technology, something new that work related. It's about your own personal growth, right? It's figuring out how you can become a better person. It's learning about things that you just might have been curious about your whole life. It is this idea of constantly trying to expand your horizon. There's a one of the classic self-help books of all time, Think and Grow Rich, has a whole chapter about the necessity of specialized knowledge. So maybe you use that growth mindset, you apply it by saying, oh, I am going to become the expert for my business in this new technology. I am going to become so good at it that I will be indispensable and people will come to me for help. That might be one example or one way that you can apply that growth mindset into your personal growth and personal development and educationally and professionally. You can see now how those link together, can't you? Right? So that is just one area of how you can do that. It could also be personal growth and development about your health and fitness, and you tie that in, right? Looking to become healthier, more physically fit, more energized. So you want to learn more and begin to apply a growth mindset to not only learning it, but then applying it into your life. Listening to this video and acting on it. That's applying a growth mindset to your personal growth and development. Now let's look at a real life example of somebody who applied a growth mindset to their life. Let's look at none other than Albert Einstein. Einstein had struggled in school early on. That the way they did school of rote learning and that kind of repetition all just didn't suit him well. And he struggled with it. But he never lost the passion for learning, right? That's part of that growth mindset. So he kept pursuing his education, being self-taught in many ways. But even in his formal schooling, he kept trying to go beyond the classroom setting to learn what he could. When he was done his formal schooling, though, he didn't get an academic job right away. So here we are, Albert Einstein, right, one of the great thinkers in history, didn't get an academic position right off. He ended up working in the patent office, but he kept pursuing his education on his own, kept learning more and more, wondering, asking himself different questions. For example, one question he asked himself, what would it be like to travel on a beam of light? That question led him to the development of a whole new theory that brought into question Newtonian physics and really kind of launched Einstein to who we know of and what we think of with Einstein. Learning to ask better questions and doing some of those thought experiments, thinking outside the box. All of that is applying a growth mindset to his life. And, of course, we know the results. We know the accomplishments of Albert Einstein, don't we? So I encourage you to subscribe to our channel, check out the other videos, but also there will be a link in the description to one of our free webinars, Empower and Excel. And I would encourage you to go to that, register for that, take that. It's on demand, but go through that webinar, and that's going to give you a little more insight about applying a growth mindset. So check out that webinar today.